I have found the sourcing method of my dreams. I've been sourcing really good inventory that people actually want to buy, inventory that can sell for $100 plus, and inventory that most importantly moves quickly. And the best part is I do it all from my couch after my kids go to bed, which makes a huge difference for me because at this stage in the game, I often just don't have time to drive 20 minutes to Goodwill during the middle of the day where I just might find good inventory. And in my other videos, I've heard from some of y'all that you struggle to find inventory at your local thrift stores that sell for higher average sales prices. So now with this sourcing strategy, you can find that high ASP inventory and it's conveniently delivered to your doorstep. Okay, so what is it? It's actually not a huge secret. I've discussed it in the past and you probably already know about it, but for whatever reason, I feel like it's just not being leveraged by resellers as much as it should be. And there are some new things about this website which make it much easier to source from. Okay, so my secret sourcing destination is ThredUp. This video is 100% not sponsored by ThredUp. I don't think I've ever been sponsored by them. I probably never will be, although I should be, so ThredUp, feel free to email me. But I've figured out a way to source on ThredUp that allows me to source really good inventory, check comps literally while I'm scrolling on my phone on the couch, make really educated decisions, streamline my sourcing, and increase my average sales price. The Goodwills in the Portland area price things up so much now, as y'all have noticed, that I'm often just not even paying that much more. So it makes sense for me to source this way. So I'm gonna go through this sourcing method step by step and show you what I do. But before I jump into it, I want to give you a word of warning. This can be really addicting. So be careful not to sink too much time into it. Give yourself some parameters, set some boundaries, set a timer, whatever you need. Just don't let it become a time suck. Oh, and I also want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Fern. Have you heard of Fern? F-E-A-R-N? If ThredUp is the sourcing method of my dreams, Fern is the reselling software of my dreams. I log into Fern and I'm immediately greeted with my sales goal. And as a reseller, having goals and holding yourself accountable to those goals is everything. So I love that Fern really helps me with that. But another cool thing is that when I'm just sourcing on ThredUp, I'm already online, so I can just create a draft of the item that I find. I can save my cost of goods within that draft, which will be used in my analytics. I can even add my ThredUp purchase to my expenses, which will be used in my bookkeeping. And then when I have it photographed and ready to list, I can cross-list it to eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark. And then the best part is when it sells, I click update and it delists all of my sales on the platforms upon which it didn't sell, automatically pulls in all my sales data, which updates my bookkeeping and analytics, and it creates a shipping list for me. It's inventory management, cross-listing, analytics, bookkeeping, returns management, goal setting, and so much more, all wrapped into one central command station for my reselling business. Right now, you can try Fern 2 weeks free. Just head on over to fern.co and get started now. All right, back to my ThredUp sourcing strategy. So basically what you want to do on ThredUp is what we want to do with any sourcing strategy. Find an arbitrage opportunity. The definition for arbitrage from Investopedia is this: arbitrage is the simultaneous purchase and sale of the same asset in different markets in order to profit from a difference in its price. So when we buy something from the thrift store and then sell it on eBay, we are profiting from the price difference between markets. Same with ThredUp. ThredUp has some sort of algorithm that sets their prices, and I don't know what it is, but like any algorithm, it's not perfect. They're regularly overpricing and underpricing things. And just like we should be, ThredUp really tries to move inventory as quickly as possible. Did you know that ThredUp literally lists 50,000 new pieces of inventory on their website every single day? That's insane. And it's no wonder that some things are going to slip through the cracks. So as resellers, those discrepancies can be our opportunities. Okay, so the first thing I always do is just scroll through the most recent inventory listed on ThredUp. I go to women's, click newest, and scroll. I look at all sizes, all price points, and when I find something that I think is interesting and potentially underpriced, I take a screenshot and then I Google image search my screenshot. And if I need to, I can add the brand name to the search as well. And then a lot of times I can actually just see comps right there. Listings from eBay and Poshmark and what the item is currently reselling for. I was recently scrolling through the newest women's items and saw this Show Me Your Muumuu new attack dress. And typically Show Me Your Muumuu is a brand that I pass on these days, but I know from experience that their sequin pieces can perform really well. And when I saw this one, it actually reminded me of a rainbow stripe retrofit dress that Taylor Swift wore. So I Google image searched it and voila, I saw that on Poshmark it's selling for over $100. So with a discount code, I was actually able to snag it on ThredUp for $36.49. Okay, so that's one way to discover new inventory, but there's actually another way to discover arbitrage opportunities, and that is assorted brands. ThredUp catalogs thousands of brands. So if you're like me and there are brands you love selling, you can save those searches and check them daily. And if you're curious about what brands I love, I actually did a whole video on this recently, which I'll link up on the screen. But there are also thousands and thousands of other more obscure brands that ThredUp doesn't necessarily want to deal with. So they just lump them all under assorted brands. And they typically price all of these assorted brand pieces around $20. Now, recently, and I don't know how recently because I actually just kind of started sourcing on ThredUp again, but ThredUp started including photos of the brand tag and material tag in all of their listings, which is a huge game changer because now you don't have to dig around the internet to find what brand this assorted brand item is. There's a photo of it for you. This is also a huge game changer on jeans, such as a Goldie jeans, because the style name is often on the materials tag. So you automatically know the style name and can easily just check comps that way. Okay, but anyways, with assorted brands, you want to sort by newest, just like with the women's section, and scroll looking for high quality pieces. The vast majority of what's under assorted brands are the brands we know and love, such as Shy Velvet, Sweaty Rocks, Crybaby, Super Pretty. Okay, just kidding. Most are fast fashion Amazon brands that have absolutely no resale value, but there are gems. I've found Cezanne, Aina by McDougal, Gustin, Alex Crane, and so many more within assorted brands. I also have learned about so many brands this way, which I absolutely love. Like this brand that just says SZ on the logo, but it's sold on Tuckernuck and J. Crew. I found this within assorted brands and sold it for $48 after only 16 days. And I learned about this golf brand called For All and sold this top for $45 in only 3 days. If you watch my pricing video, which I'll link up on the screen, the Cezanne blouse that I priced at the end of the video, I found that within assorted brands and it just sold on Mercari for $63.75. So just to recap, I typically will search all of women's newest pieces. Sometimes I'll filter by condition because I don't want to deal with flaws. And then I'll go through my saved search brands. And then lastly, I will search through assorted brands. Now, this can be a pricey way to source, but there are a few ways to decrease your cost of goods. First is with discount codes, and like I said, ThredUp is always trying to move inventory, so they are always running different discount codes, and they always have different sales going on. If you've never used ThredUp before, you can click the link in my description, and you'll get 45% off your entire purchase, and I'll get $40 in credit, so thank you in advance to anyone who uses that. And also, if you do a bit of Googling, you can sometimes find really good discount codes, but another way I subsidize my purchases, like I do with my buy-sell trade strategy, is by sending clothes to ThredUp. I actually started doing this by accident because I would take items that I sourced at the bins to buy-sell trade stores like Crossroads and Buffalo Exchange, but I'd always end up with a bag of stuff that neither of them wanted, and I didn't want to sell that stuff either, so I just started sending it to ThredUp as an experiment. Now it's important to note ThredUp actually takes $15 off the top of any bag you send, so you do have to try to be a little bit strategic and send good pieces if you want to get some credit, but I was actually really surprised how well some things sold, especially things that have high retail value, like this Reese sweater that Crossroads and Buffalo Exchange did not want. I got $19.98 for it, and this Barber sweater that both places passed on, I received $22.66. It does take some time for them to process what you send in, like a month and a half or 2 months, so it's a good idea to be regularly sending in items, but I can subsidize my inventory this way just the same as I do with Crossroads and Buffalo Exchange, and it's so much more convenient. I just put it in a bag or put it in a box and ship it off, and it's less awkward because I don't have to deal with any people, especially people who know I'm a reseller. Okay. So let's go over a few more examples of ThredUp flips that have worked really well for me. First, this Frank and Eileen Jody boyfriend button-up shirt. I purchased this for $30.50 and it sold full price for $90 in only 4 days, which gave me a profit of $41.50. Next, these Mother springy ankle jeans in a size 32. I sourced these for $29.50 and they sold the day after I listed them for 80 bucks. I actually could have maybe held out for more, but I was happy to move it for 80 bucks in 1 day, which gave me a gross profit of $34.50. Next is Mother high-waisted rider ankle jeans in a size 26. These are actually hemmed, which I didn't know when I purchased. I was worried that they wouldn't sell, but they did. I purchased them for $26.50 and they sold for $75 in only 19 days, which gave me a profit of $33.50. And then these Cezanne Manu trouser jeans that I got on ThredUp for $29. They sold for $72 after only 14 days, which gave me a gross profit of $28.60. So, as you can see, my gross profit margin is actually much lower than my average, but my average profit per item is higher than my average, which is all I really care about. And my average days till sold is great because I'm able to be selective and pick up things that people actually want to buy. Just for instance, a few weeks ago, I received one of my ThredUp orders. I received 15 items, listed them, and 9 have already sold. The other 6 have a ton of interest and likes, and I have a good feeling they're gonna sell quickly too. So that's my strategy. I know it won't be for everyone, and frankly, I hope it's not for everyone, but I felt compelled to share it because ThredUp lists 50,000 new pieces of inventory on their website every day, so there are plenty of arbitrage opportunities to go around, and I just know that this sourcing strategy could make a big impact on someone's reselling business like it has with mine. And you know what else could make a huge difference in your reselling business? Fern. If you haven't already, head on over to fern.co, FEARN.co, and try it out 2 weeks free. All right, well, that is the video. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love y'all.